New data released by the United Nations shows India will soon have more people living in the country than China. China has had the largest population in the world since at least 1950, which was when the UN began sharing population data. Joining us now for more on this is Bradley Schurman. He's the founder and CEO of the Super Age, a demographic specialist who studies the aging of populations. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, very interesting.
Good to be here.
Yeah, let's talk about why India seems to be surpassing China at this point.
Well, India simply has a higher birth rate at this point, and this has been happening for a number of years. A result is the one-child policy in China, and a result of really unchecked birth rates in India. It's simply a growing nation.
So here we have a country with a growing population, but still a lot of poverty. So what does this mean when it comes to the influence of India on the global economic stage? I mean, could it surpass China?
Absolutely. I think that is a great probability for the future, in large part because of the large amount of readily available labor. But we're really going to see that labor influence the service sector more than the product sector, because India is such a service center for countries like the United States. What we're going to see back here in the United States with China is that the price of goods is actually going to increase because labor, the number of people participating in the labor market, is actually decreasing.
So China has been seen as a rising global power for decades, but does population have anything to do with its actual global superiority? In other words, global power? The United States is significantly smaller than both India and China, and yet some might argue, and I don't know if this still is true, that the U.S. is the most powerful country in the world, at least when you look at all the measurements that are used to measure power.
Well, it's the largest economy still.
And it's still the largest economy.
Yeah.
Right. The U.S. economy grew essentially unchecked following the Second World War. That's one of the main reasons it's got so big so fast. We're also really good at efficiencies here. These countries have large populations, but don't necessarily have the same efficiencies that we do. Power builds over time. China's population grew exponentially since the 1950s, but their economy really only started to explode after they opened up. India might have a similar situation on their hands as their population continues to grow.
You know, you talked about sort of the large labor pool that India had. Does the global economy favor a large population that has a higher level of education across the board?
Well, certainly for areas like the service sector, there is an interest in having a higher level of education. Obviously, if the subcontinent is serving clients in the U.S. and English-speaking world, then they do have to have a higher degree of education. That's never really taken off in China. That's why China's really stayed kind of in the lane of the product sector versus the services sector, why they haven't quite matured out of that space yet. Now, China certainly is transitioning into more of a service sector economy, at least they're trying to, but there are some significant structural forces that are getting in the way here. The first is that they have record high youth unemployment. 1 out of 5 young men and women are out of a job in China. And this is either by choice or by force because they can't find the right job to match their skills. On the other end of the equation, China retires people way too soon. Women can retire as young as 50 in that country if you're in the manufacturing sector. This is insane when you look at a country that's actually pushed up their life expectancy to just over 80. It's putting all of these structural forces on the nation that is pulling the economy back. And that's why their growth projections, not just for population, but also for the economy, are really stalling.
Oh, that's so interesting. I mean, that's you know, you hear about Elon Musk, I'm sure, has talked about workers in China and how they're so much sort of better and more efficient than North America. But I did not know about the retirement age and all these other factors that we often don't consider.
Yeah, no, it's 100%.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, please.
Yeah. No, I think the reality is that these pressures that we see in China are ones that we sometimes experience here in the United States too. And we really have to pay attention to them because we might actually start feeling them sooner than we think. In fact, in the United States, half the states and 3/4 of our counties now have deaths outpacing births.
Wow.
Think about that for a moment. The only reason the United States continues to grow as a nation, and the only reason we've been really allowed to keep labor costs relatively low, is because we have people coming in from the outside to help supplant the people that we're no longer reproducing.
Bradley, I feel like we could talk to you for a while.
True.
Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing your knowledge with us.
It's great being with you. Thanks so much.